Microdose, yeah. Microdose, 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 dose. Microdose, microdose, dose. Microdose, microdose, dose.
Five, four, three. What's good, y'all? Kush Hayes here. Brand new episode of the Microdose. Yes, Kush, they're all brand new. But hey, we appreciate that you took the time to still download us, subscribe, like, share, etc., etc., etc. I'm just going to get right to it. Bringing back one of my favorite guests, Steven Steinbacher, cinematographer extraordinaire. How are you doing, my man? What is good?
I'm doing pretty well. I don't know what's good right now. I'm kind of checked out. Just been working on, not going broke, working on my film projects and stuff. Been shooting a ton of projects. A slasher film I shot over the winter. We didn't quite have enough time to shoot like a whole feature length.
Okay.
So it's going to be closer to a half an hour, which is about the length of a short film I'm finishing up now. So we're probably going to do like a grindhouse sort of thing, make like a little independent 90-minute package with some like fake trailers and some other little goofy shit thrown in there.
Okay.
With two like solid ass short films in it. Try to present that as a feature.
What is the movie that you're trying to sell now? If I said that correctly.
It's my short you saw an earlier cut of people having fun. It's that and then this other slasher called One Dark Night. And they'll be like side by side. We both work, me and the other director both work at a theater, so we're thinking about shooting like a creep show kind of like bridging sequence at the theater we work at.
Oh, that'd be fun.
And then like a couple fake trailers to like add into the mix.
Nice. Yeah. I can already picture it in my head. Yeah, that's gonna kill.
Mine's pretty goofy, so I think it'll be the second one.
Okay.
So,
You gotta have a little. You ratchet up the drama, and then you deflate a little, and then you go for the kill. Like it's perfect. It's cinema 101. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. So, dude, it's 2023. We just had the Oscars. I don't know if all your picks won or what, but normally around this time, movies are only starting to get good or get interesting, or April's around the corner for whatever reason. Now April is summer, but I feel like we're in a unique situation here where the first 3 months of 2023, we've had an embarrassment of riches of just entertaining movies. Maybe not Hall of Famers, maybe not. We're not going to see them at Oscars so 96, but from week one, dude, I like the worst movie I've seen this year so far is Ant-Man 3. Okay, and while I like the Ant-Man, like it was way too long. It was too much fluff, too polished. Like something wasn't right. We should have taken the comedy from Thor Part 4 and the drama from Ant-Man 3 and crossed them. I feel like we should have had it go that way. That would have been better, I think.
I don't think Ant-Man nor Thor 4 are particularly good films, but I thought Ant-Man, I thought the humor was much better in Ant-Man, solely because Paul Rudd, Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer are capable of delivering the quips in a way that didn't make me want to run headfirst into a brick wall. That movie was incompetent in a lot of ways, but I found it kind of amusing because it was so careless about it. Like the scenes have like almost no connective tissue. Like the events don't line up. Like Ant-Man's daughter in the opening scene is like, I have a costume. And then she spends half the movie almost getting crushed in the quantum verse or whatever.
There's a lot of problems with Ant-Man, but we're not here to talk about our worst movies. We're here to talk about 3 movies that stood out for us. And we just had Creed 3. We just had Scream 6. Both movies completely different from the rest of their franchise that preceded it. Like that, those were exciting to me. But like, what is there a movie that stuck out to you this year that you really liked a lot?
Well, have you talked about Creed 3 yet? Because I liked that quite a bit.
Oh, I did a review for it on the Waffle Box, the original Waffle Box. No substitutions because it is the best part of Wednesdays. But Creed 3, I enjoyed it a lot. Better than Creed 2, not better than Creed 1, but still a step in the right direction.
If it had been made in 2015 and it was like this script with this team, it might be on par with Creed 1. But because it was shot during the pandemic and all this other stuff, that means that like the whole movie's on a green screen, all that other things. I just feel like it doesn't have, I don't know. I feel like we've lost something on some of these big studio films that we even had less than 10 years ago with Creed 1. That's such a grounded movie in the way it's shot, the way it feels.
Yeah, for some reason when we couldn't get Ryan Coogler back, it just kind of just shot in a whole other direction. And like Stallone had to, there's a lot of Stallone interference on that second Creed, and it's very visible. And while I like Stallone, I like Rocky, I like most of the stuff Stallone has done with Rocky, but this is just like, this is not a good movie, bro. Like, I am irritated to no end here. And then
there's
Creed
interesting ideas in it, though, right? Like Dolph Lundgren does some really good work in it, but
Dolph Lundgren's fine, sure.
it should have just been his movie almost, if that's the way they were going to take it.
Yes, I agree. I actually did a whole podcast called Sweet Science Cinema with Pro Wrestling Hall of Famer Jameel Hemphill, and we talk about Creed 2 and all of its flaws, as well as Creed 1. That's an earlier episode, but I've awesome. Gone into all the details about why Creed 2 is not good, what should have been better, what they could have done differently. And I think they answered most of that in Creed 3. Like the I like the anime influence. I like that, you know, there are times where we're watching Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors as adults, and then there's a little flash and they're still children. You know, like it's lots of good visualizations, lots of good symbolism.
Yeah, for sure. Little moments like people will take a second to talk to the crowd during like boxing matches and stuff, like those checkmate moments between Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan. You wouldn't see that in an earlier Rocky film. That's 100% anime influence, but it's done very naturally. It doesn't like stand out. And even that sequence towards the end where it gets a little more fantastical, I think is pretty well realized and enthralling for what it is.
There's an anime out there called Hajime no Ippo. We call it Fighting Spirit in the United States. It's based on a manga that goes all the way back to like 1985. In fact, I think they're only like in 1992 now in their storyline. But the TV series, dude, it's some of the best. It's one of the best boxing stories I've ever seen. I put it up against Rocky. I'll say it's better than Rocky even. But it's just you know, there's the first series is 76 episodes, and then there's 2 more of like 12 or 25, I want to say. So there's over 100 episodes of just lore there. And sure enough, you know, they get into this whole thing. What does it mean to be a champion, and what does it mean to be a man? And you know, the opening series, the kid is constantly just punching a tree, just so one, he can build up his strength, but two, like, he has to catch all these leaves. And when Michael B. Jordan starts punching the tree, like, this motherfucker is copyright infringement, sir. He didn't take it that far. But I really enjoyed Creed 3. I understand that Amazon, who owns MGM, is now just like, Michael B. Jordan, build us a Rocky cinematic universe. Like, let's get a Creed story in there. Let's get a Drago story in there. Let's do a TV series. That'll be fun. And
they're just going to do like Rocky Cobra Kai, right? That's the only angle you can take a TV show.
I disagree.
With his daughter, what else could they possibly be setting up? Like, I would watch any Rocky TV show that looked good, but that's what I think they're going to do.
Well, just think about individual characters. What if we had a 10-episode series about Mickey's come up?
Sure.
Yeah. All right.
Mickey's a great character. Yeah.
Why not?
Right. I imagine it'll be like modern, but if it's like set in like gritty 70s New York or something, or that would be even earlier, I suppose.
It'd be even earlier.
Yeah.
There's a line in the original Rocky where he's like, "Yeah, see this scar? Some asshole put a nail in his glove and just kept pinching the shit out of me." Like, we could see that match. Like, we're getting into Star Wars territory where we're building entire episodes around one throwaway line, but like, it could work in this case, I think.
If it ends in a boxing match, we're gonna like it. So
wouldn't that be weird too? Like, the Mickey series didn't have any boxing matches in it. It was so fucking weird. Like, they had a tea party and then they just talked about their feelings. So strange. I'm gonna steer off of Rocky here. Movie that jumped right out of the gate. You think I might be talking about Megan? I should be talking about Megan. Who didn't love Megan? But I'm gonna go to week 2 of this illustrious year, and Gerard Butler, Mike Coulter in Jean-Francois Richet's Plane. Great movie.
That looked
terrible title.
Yeah, it looked very fun. I heard some people get fucked up with some very large caliber rounds in it, like a lot of just bodies getting dismembered and stuff. Like,
it's very pretty gnarly.
Well
dude.
realized.
So, like, the plane crash itself is pretty spectacular, and then they have to, like, I don't know. We're in the deepest, darkest part of the Philippines where even the army won't come. Oh no! Like, shit gets ratcheted up like on a level like not even Lost had, where you're just
Awesome.
like, oh no, we're dealing with like real like pirates here, and like tourists get shot the fuck up, and then they give Mike Coulter a sledgehammer, and you're like, oh no.
Oh yes,
Plane,
that sounds great.
Plane was very exciting. It had a fantastic story, great action, like a real intensity where I'm literally on the edge of my seat. All 1 hour and 45 minutes of its beautiful runtime, Steven Steinbacher. Maybe I'm giving it extra points because it just spared us. Like we could sit down and Gerard Butler and Mike Coulter could talk about more of their past. Like, let's just get into the goddamn story and let's rescue some tourists and let's get the fuck off this island. And that's the movie. And it did so good that they're gonna make a sequel with Mike Coulter with an equally terrible name called Ship.
Have they really announced that?
They really announced that.
That's amazing. So are you saying Gerard Butler does not survive the film if he's not going to be in it?
No, I did not say that. However, the Variety's article is just Mike Coulter's coming back. We're going to follow
Maybe they
this
didn't
character.
Get along? I don't know. Why wouldn't you like if they were like a buddy duo in it? Why wouldn't you bring them back together?
After Plane came out, since you asked why is Gerard Butler not there, an article came out where multiple times on multiple different projects he's gotten not just stuntmen injured but actual like other cast and crew members.
Shit, what's he doing?
Careless stuff. Gerard Butler is he's a handsome man and he's an action man, but he's also a clod and a klutz. And apparently, just I don't have the article in front of me, but I want to say it's like a Christopher Lambert situation where like someone's fingers got cut off at one point. Like I might have just made that part up, but that's like people are getting seriously injured around Jerry Butt.
Well, he looks drunk in a lot of roles these days, which sometimes works to his benefit, a la Den of Thieves, where he just looks like Bam Margera, which is perfect for the shithead cop he's playing.
Bam Margera on steroids.
Yes, pretty much. It's a beautiful thing to see.
That's a beautiful comparison. Like I hated Den of Thieves, but I was like,
oh, I kind of love that movie.
Den of Thieves was like, you know what's a good movie? Heat. We should try and recreate. Let's make our own version of Heat. And then for some reason, 50 cents in it. I don't know.
I saw someone call it Heat for the Monster Energy generation, and I think that's perfect. Like it's just a viscerally blunt recreation and stupid recreation of Heat, but it's like gorgeously shot, pretty well acted, and like leans into its stupidity. I don't know. I enjoy. I'll watch the sequel.
Steven Steinbacher. You know what would be? You know what also is a good movie besides Heat? The Usual Suspects. Boom! That's our fucking movie now. All right.
Yes.
Heat meets The Usual Suspects. Like I'm honestly surprised O'Shea Jackson didn't just start like limping out of the bar at the end there. Like
the funniest version of the Usual Suspects ending just being like crammed into a movie is at the end of Lars von Trier's Nymphomaniac Part 2. Oh. You've watched like 6 hours of like very depressing, obscene storytelling, and then it's just like, it was all bullshit.
Oh wow! The Red Shoe Diaries is taking quite a turn. Ugh.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I understand that movie is just like some of the most uncomfortable, like nothing sexy about it. You're just like, oh, it's like everyone here isn't the one Skarsgård and there's like in his 50s, but like everyone else is still
Skarsgård.
Still in their 30s, but it's still like watching two elderly people try and fuck and just. Ew.
It's uncomfortable and disturbing. Yeah, it's one of my least favorite Lars von Trier projects, but those movies are interesting. I think they're worth watching for sure.
Is there another movie on your mind, on your plate that you think often about and like, damn, that was better than that should have been in this time period?
So, did you see Knock at the Cabin?
Great goddamn movie.
Yeah,
surprisingly a great goddamn movie. Like, if I don't know why M. Night is still leaning on a twist, and he needs to stop doing that because if the twist was they're the four horsemen, then that shit was stupid. Like it's the apocalypse. There's four of them. Hello, anyone who's read a book, let alone the good book, knows what the fuck the horsemen are. All right.
Yeah.
If you watch pro wrestling, hello, there's the four horsemen. Starring Dave Bautista. Like,
who is incredible in the role. Like,
Oh, yes.
will probably be my favorite performance of this year. He's
Oh.
spectacular. But I really liked this movie. I didn't love it. There are a couple things that hold me back on it. Like the film had a slightly troubled production. It swapped cinematographers at some point, and I think the opening sequence is so beautifully shot. Those close-ups are insane. Just the way it captures that little bit of forest there is just so gorgeous. And after a certain point, when it gets indoors, it just kind of loses the grounding I feel it had, and there start being weird post-production effects, like that moment when Jonathan Groff is supposed to be seeing someone outside, and there's just like the worst digital lens flare of all time, just like shining straight into the camera. Little things like that, just it felt sort of disjointed in the way the shoot went, I guess, and that kind of stood out to me. But as far as the story went, the emotions and the performances, I thought it was fantastic for sure.
Yeah, it was a really, really well crafted story. I understand it's not an original story. Like M. Night didn't write this; he just like found a script and like, oh, I could do that, and for cheap. Hey, but yeah, Dave Bautista, dude, is becoming a better actor with each film he's a part of nowadays. Like he still does the dry shit with Guardians of the Galaxy, and we shouldn't take that away from him. But like, I think directors are seeing what his strengths are and hiding his weaknesses, like a good pro wrestling booker would. You know, like he stands out, and it's like again, the more calmer he is, the scarier he is, and he's still like, I'm not trying to scare you, but this is a terrifying situation. You have to understand. Like,
yeah, his calming presence in it, despite his obvious giant physical demeanor, is such a cool contrast, and it makes his character stand out in a way that he doesn't always have. Although I really do like him as a screen presence. I've liked him going back even before Guardians, wrestling and movies like Riddick. I think he gave some really good character performances back in the day. Yeah, his monologue in Knock at the Cabin about how you have to be careful with what you say to children is one of the most like heartfelt and sincere things I've seen in a movie in a very long time.
He's a second grade basketball coach, or he's a teacher.
Yeah. And he's the only reason he's committing this terrible crime is to protect his students.
Outstanding stuff.
Are you familiar with the book it's based on at all?
Not at all. No.
So can I say the ending to the book here?
Please. Yeah.
At the end of the book, the couple are wrestling over the pistol to try to like defend themselves, and it gets like thrown and goes off and shoots the daughter.
Oh.
And because they didn't intentionally do it, it doesn't count as a sacrifice. And so the couple's just like, fuck this, and they just like roam the end of the world, basically.
Oh wow.
They just let the whole world die.
Definitely an unsatisfying ending.
Yeah. And
but also like not the same ending as The Mist.
No, also not the same ending as the Mist. But I like the way M. Night reworked it here, and I think the final beats are really touching.
Another movie that came out by another director who has been self-financing his own work. We were blessed with a Guy Ritchie movie this year, dude. But in fact, we're getting another one. I almost went
to that.
What's the next one? Fortune. The next one
is already out.
Operation it came out 2 weeks ago.
Are there two Operation Fortunes?
Not that I know of. One I'm talking about is Jason Statham, Aubrey Plaza, Carrie Elways, Guy, Hugh Grant.
Yeah,
like
so fantastic. That's playing right now, right?
I mean, it's indie-rific. It's Guy Ritchie indie-rific, so it might not be everywhere right now. You might find it on Prime for $15, but
okay,
solid movie, lots of fun. It's one of the things where like, dude, he got a lot of shit for it, but I'm so glad he did that Aladdin movie in 2018, dude. Like that thing made $1 billion, and it's just like, just make what I want now. I'm just gonna tell my little story, and Miramax can distribute it or not, whatever. I'll just release it my own self. Fuck it. Like,
did you see Wrath of Man?
Yes, I did. That was the first movie I went back to.
That might be his best movie. That movie's awesome. The Johnny Cash remix in that, when they're like just like breaking into people's homes at night and terrorizing families, is really good.
I was not a fan of Wrath of Man. In fact, my review of it when I left was like, well, it was nice to get out of the house for the first time in this pandemic. Like, I'm glad I saw this on the IMAX, but I thought I was gonna have more fun, honestly, and
It isn't a fun movie. It's mean.
No.
It's upsetting in a way that I don't know he's ever really tapped into before. But it's fucked up, and I really got a kick out of it. I can't imagine seeing it. You saw that in IMAX?
Yeah.
Those child pornography dens must have really looked disgusting.
Child pornography dens. Wrath of Man?
Yeah, that movie goes down some dark alleys.
I don't even remember that. I remember the bank. I remember the armored car stuff. I remember them calling what's his name? Boychek, or Boy Sweat.
Yeah, Boy Sweat, right? I forgot about that. So like Jason Statham's son gets killed, and a lot of the movie is like flashbacks trying to figure out who killed the son. And on the way they're trying to do that, they run into like some sort of like child sex ring or something, and they kill like everyone who works there.
Wow, I must have had a couple extra margaritas that night. Yeah, like I walked away from Wrath of Man like going, I like Guy Ritchie's trying stuff with drones now. Like that's exciting to me. But then like the only other thing I remember is this is we're in the middle of the pandemic, so they're blocking seats now. So where I was sitting, they blocked off 3 seats to the left and 3 seats to the right, and then the 3 seats right in front of me. And I was like, this is amazing. I hope this part of the pandemic never ends. Of course it does, but all right. Maybe I have to go see Wrath of Man again.
Go into it with the mindset that you're gonna watch like something very dark. It's not even like a Heat riff. It's something more fucked up than that.
I honestly thought I was just gonna see Taken with Jason Statham by Guy Ritchie, and
it isn't that
into a whole other direction. But Operation Fortune, dude, it's a lot of fun. It's a fantastic ensemble cast. I would like to see more from this.
Is that a heist? A heist movie?
Sort of. So dig this. Someone that we don't know stole an item from the English government. We don't know what they stole. What it does, we're not entirely sure, but it is very dangerous. Like these are literal quotes of dialogue. Like we don't know we have to find it, and just the adventure continues from there. And it's a lot of fun. Nobody went to see it. I think it made less than Shazam 2 did, but I had a great time. I absolutely recommend Operation Fortune. For some reason, it has a French subtitle. I
don't know.
I don't know what
De Guerra. Yeah, I have no idea.
Cruz de Guerra. Maybe it's Spanish even. I don't know. But yeah, Operation Fortune. Go see it. So we just talked about Operation Fortune. I'm gonna end my third favorite movie of this 2023 first quarter with Bobby Farrelly. They gave him some money, and he's like, I want to do a remake of this Mexican movie called Champions. And I'm going to have Woody Harrelson and Caitlin Olsen from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia star in it. And it's about Woody Harrelson as a disheveled pro basketball coach who, much like in the Mighty Ducks, has to do some community service and has to coach an entire team of special needs young adults. They're all over 18, I want to say. But goddamn, heartwarming and fun. And it's Bobby Farrelly as opposed to Peter Farrelly. So this isn't the guy who did Green Book, which I thought was a great goddamn movie. However, Farrelly brothers, they did Something About Mary, Dumb and Dumber, all the classics. And he's got a very special attachment to the special needs community. So they're always featured characters. And this time it's really good movie, dude. I caught one of those Regal mystery movie events last month, and that's how I saw this. It's currently playing, but I don't think anybody saw it. It deserves a lot more. There's a lot more attention. Yes, it's a remake. Yes, we could have just brought the Mexican movie up to the United States. We didn't. I don't know why, but Champions. Woody Harrelson, Caitlin Olsen, Bobby Farrelly. I would say everybody should go see this. Good family movie, fun sports drama. I've
heard it's great.
Yeah.
How much Ernie Hudson is in it?
Maybe 15 minutes tops.
I was hoping for more Ernie Hudson.
Yeah, it's same. But he's in there. He serves a point, and when he's there, he's great.
Nice.
So,
okay. Is it in theaters?
I believe it is still in theaters, but well, as of this recording, it is, but maybe when we release this, it will have been gone, and we're talking a span of 4 days here. Like that's how little it did. So, but everyone should see it. This is, it's heartwarming. It's motivating. These kids can do it, so can you.
I'll have to check that out.
It'll be on Prime within the next 30 days, probably. But yeah, man. So that's the first quarter of 2023. I'm looking forward to our second quarter. We're gonna have Drew Angelman on, and like Fast and Furious 10 is at the top of my list. While I did not like Fast 9, I could not be more excited for Fast 10.
Ooh, but Fast 9 had Justin Lin, and Fast 10 does not have Justin Lin. Doesn't that concern you?
It does not.
Okay.
Again, where I would like Justin Lin to keep making these movies, but I understand why he needed to step away, and I respect that. And maybe he shouldn't even come back for Fast 9 because that thing was a mess. That thing was.
I haven't seen 9 yet. What made it so bad? I heard it was good.
I love the series. Some movies are better than others, obviously, but this one is the worst of them, man. It's too long. We rely too much on flashbacks to a point where, like, the movie could have just been the flashbacks. Like, I'd have been cool if a prequel to Fast and Furious Babies, whatever you want to call it, man. Like, we could have had
Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift 2.
No, not really.
They brought Han back, though, right?
They did, and it's not a satisfying explanation either.
What explanation did they give?
We got it.
Okay. Fair enough.
I wish I had a better explanation, but their attitude was just like Kurt Russell just set it all up anyways. Kurt Russell's Mr. Nobody character is like, I guess Han was not a gangster. He's been a government agent the entire time. And so
he faked his death in Tokyo Drift.
He faked his death in Tokyo Drift, which would be a surprise for Jason Statham because he thought he killed that motherfucker.
Yeah.
And then and then they did a mistake. They listened to the audience because we were like, when is Fast and Furious going into space? And I was like, that is a great question. When are we going into space? But when I think about this, I'm thinking about Drag Race on the Moon, bitch. By the way, we got that in Ad Astra.
Yes,
we did not get that in this. Okay.
What it takes place? Fast 9's in space?
Fast 9 has a portion where Tyrese and Ludacris take a Pontiac Fiero, a 1984 Pontiac Fiero, into orbit.
You're making me think this might be the greatest movie ever made.
On paper, and the way I explain it, is the greatest movie ever made.
It sounds awesome.
But when you see the execution, you're like, oh.
That's a bummer. But 10, we have a fully green screened Jason Momoa showing up.
Yeah. And a digitally de-aged Vin Diesel, which I'm also excited about.
I didn't know that. That's great.
There's in the trailer, his kid is in the car and he's like, look at me, Dad, I can turn a steering wheel. And he's like, oh, my son. Like, it looks like Michael Douglas's de-aged character from Ant-Man.
Hey, when Ant-Man came out, people were pretending like it looked good, so
it looked good, man. He looked like he was 40-year-old Michael Douglas in that intro in Ant-Man 1. And Vin Diesel is closer to 60 now than he is 40. Okay, so they wiped all those wrinkles out of his face. And I don't blame them. But they did. Anyway,
we better get old man Riddick. They better not digitally de-age Riddick when they go back to that franchise.
He's got an ego. So yeah, you're getting de-aged Riddick.
Yeah,
he's not ready to tell like that story yet. Like, much like Stallone, like Rocky should have died like 2 movies ago, but like, we can't let Rocky die. We can't let Riddick die. You gotta keep that franchise going.
Rocky just has to get like a tiny shout out 3/4 of the way through the film where people are like, remember Rocky? And that's all he's gonna get from here on out. Is that what's happening?
I'm sure they're gonna kiss and make up and he'll be in Creed 4.
He should
or not. Who knows? So I know you didn't see Shazam, and we're gonna end this in a couple minutes here, but is it weird that Shazam opened so poorly? Like the Snyderverse community is all about the Snyderverse, the Snyderverse, the Snyder. Hey, Netflix, buy the rights to the Snyderverse. Buy the rights from Warner Brothers Discovery DC. And as crazy as that sounds, like when you don't support the movie, that is absolutely not happening.
I know a lot of Zack Snyder fans. I'm one myself. I'm not like someone who's gonna like bug someone online about it or whatever. But is this movie like that set in the Snyder films? Because it seems like they've been moving past those as hard as they can for a while.
They are trying to move past that. We still have now not including
the Flash is clearly set in the Snyderverse. Like it looks like a lot of the Flash takes place during the events of Man of Steel. So like I imagine the fans will probably turn up for that. But Shazam 2, like I didn't even know Shazam 2 was coming out last weekend until I was at work and I was looking at the movies playing at the theater and I was like, what's the movie in theater 1 that doesn't have a single halfway full theater? Oh, Shazam 2's out. I have not seen a single theater fill up halfway at my theater for Shazam in like the week it's been playing.
Interesting. So of all the movies from Man of Steel to Shazam 2, the only two movies that are not in the Snyderverse are Joker and The Batman. You have to emphasize the.
But then the Suicide Squad, it has Harley Quinn still, but it is like that's like a soft reboot in a way, right?
No, I would say no. I would say that is still part of the Snyderverse. Like, and the way Shazam is connected, the first Shazam has Superman from the neck down. We don't get to see Henry Cavill's face, but it's still supposed to be that Superman. And then Wonder Woman pops up in this, and it is actually Gal Gadot. And you're like,
how much is she in it?
4 minutes.
Okay.
4 minutes, and it's a Deus Ex Machina situation, and they started advertising that, and you're like, I can excuse the scene. I like the cameo, but why would you put that in the trailer? That's
because they didn't think anyone was going to show up. I guess.
But it's done now. The Snyderverse officially ends with Aquaman 2, whatever they do with that. And by the way, I still haven't seen Aquaman 1. And we'll probably not see Aquaman 2.
Aquaman 1's fun.
It made $1 billion, so I understand people like it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take that away from them, but I was just like, it's still Aquaman. Why would I see that?
I never saw Ant-Man 2. I only saw 3 because someone wanted to go. Like, it's at the point where any of these man movies are pretty expendable.
Ant-Man 2 was also, not only was it not a good movie, it's not a bad movie, but it was not a good movie. It was also right after Infinity War. So you just had this peak of drama where all your favorite characters just died. And then here's Ant-Man. We're going to do a little heist, and here's Lawrence Fishburne, who does nothing at all. And there's an ant playing the drums. And it's just like, I don't give a shit.
No.
I don't care.
And it doesn't, outside of like Ant-Man getting trapped in the quantum realm for a minute or whatever, it doesn't seem like anything that happened in it mattered to any of the other films.
No, it didn't affect any of the other films, which should be a good thing because the events of Shazam and Shazam 2 don't affect anything else in the Snyderverse. It's their own little self-contained stories. And
which was one of the strengths of Shazam 1, for sure. Like, I thought Shazam 1 was very charming, and like I liked that it was self-contained. It's just about that family and, you know, some weird horror visuals and shit mixed in. Someone told me they couldn't take their kids to it, which I thought was funny. They were like, it was too scary. Good. Like a traditional 80s family film where, oh my God, we might have a horrific moment in this. Yeah, that's David F. Sandberg. And this is apparently the Shazam episode. Let David F. Sandberg make more family movies. Honestly, he's a good horror director, but like Shazam is equal parts adventure, action, comedy, horror, family, comic book movie. Just the whole thing was fun. There's some emotional points in it too, not a lot, but again, and it's all contained in under 2 hours. It's so weird again that the group that is mad that their universe is ending did not show up for their universe in this one. maybe if it had been advertised as that, they would have. They just really did a shitty job promoting this film at all. I feel. But yeah, like I don't know. I don't really know
this fucking movie for 7 months in theaters, man. I know you.
Yeah.
You have a much busier schedule than me. I'm at the theater every week, sometimes more than once a week, and for the last 7 months, I've only been seeing Shazam 2 trailers. It's just like no.
But the trailer was not very good. I remember seeing the trailer, but even as someone who liked the first movie, I was like, this trailer looks rough. Like my interest in seeing it is because you and other friends have told me it's good. Like
that's fair.
That's fair. But yeah, like it is a bummer people aren't turning out for it. There will probably be until 2050. There will be people online that's like, we need to restore the Snyderverse, but Zack Snyder has personally given up on any hope of that. So it's just
he's
like
moved on.
Yeah,
he's moved on.
And so it's just like people need to kind of get over that. We got the 4-hour movie. What more do you fucking want? Like
they want all of it. They got their wish and now they want more, which is always a problem. Yeah. They want more. So are you excited about
Did you see
Flash?
Black Adam?
I did. Yeah. I liked it.
I did too. And I turned out for Black Adam because that one visually looked like it was at least trying to follow the template, sort of. It looked like Snyder Light in a way. You know what I'm saying?
So after I leave a big movie, I text everyone. I don't do a group text because that's obnoxious, and fuck you guys that do that. I write out one text and then I copy and paste it, and I individually text everybody the same thing. So you had to have been in this chain, but I went. Black Adam is the best Zack Snyder movie that Zack Snyder never directed.
Yeah. And it's probably one of the better imitators I've seen. I like that director a lot. He did that House of Wax remake from 2005. If you haven't seen that, Paris Hilton gets a pole
I think
through
we
her
talked
head.
about that on your last appearance here.
Probably did, yeah. But they really put a lot of stake on the Shazam property, right? Because they have now 2 flops in this little nook of the DC universe.
They unfortunately now have 2 flops. So Black Adam ironically made twice what Shazam 2 made. And they swapped the movies. We were supposed to get Shazam 2 and then Black Adam, and then I don't know what went wrong there.
Probably The Rock, if we had to guess.
You know, The Rock isn't the problem with that movie. The movie
he's good in the movie.
Stereotypical superhero film, even down to like the people of the city are now going to fight a bunch of CGI characters. But it's also got all those Zack Snyder isms where The Rock literally murders a bunch of people to.
It's the Rolling Stones. I don't remember which track it was, but it was Rolling Stones. Paint It Black, probably.
Paint It Black.
Yeah, which that sequence, and then there's a scene like 3/4 of the way through that movie where like they just clearly didn't know how to thread 2 sequences. So they're just like, we're gonna play Kanye West Power really loud for 60 seconds and just have a fully CGI scene of The Rock just like annihilating people. And it's so dumb and so clearly just like covering up a bunch of plot holes with just stupid bullshit. Like it wraps around and becomes cool. Like
it's not only is it so dumb, but it also comes out like the movie comes out a week after like all of Kanye's anti-Semitic remarks, and you're like, oh my god, they did not think this clearly. They did not have time to
it was like in that same little period. And like maybe the most that song has been used so poorly in so many blockbusters. It's in the 2017 Power Rangers reboot. It's in so much bullshit.
Oh, is it? Oh, wow.
And they found a way to work it into this. Just so funny to me.
Steven Steinbacher, we've had a lot of fun here when we reflected on
UPN.
All sorts of nonsense. But would you please plug your YouTube channel for the kids out there?
Yeah, I have a trailer for my new short film, People Having Fun, up on my YouTube channel, which is just my name, Steven Steinbacher. Sure, you can get the spelling in the description. Check out that trailer and be there for the premiere in Chicago if you can.
June 30th. June 30th. That's a ways away, but we will bring that back to people's attention. And you will come back on the show and plug that.
That sounds great. Thank you for having me on, as always.
Thanks for being a part of this, man. I appreciate it. I do some things around here. So, like I said earlier in the show, you can catch me and friend of the family, Mike Fish, on the original Waffle Box. You accept no substitutes because it is the best part of Wednesdays. We're on YouTube at Waffle Box Pod. You can also find all those episodes here on the Bosnet.family. And then we've actually started separating my movie reviews as their own videos. So check those out if you just want to see what my thoughts are on Scream 6 or Rocky Creed 3 or etc. 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 But they're all there.
Where are those videos at?
Waffle Box Pod on YouTube, but also the Bosnet.family.
Sick.
For Steven Steinbacher, I've been Kush Hayes, you've been you, and
Microdose, 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 yeah, microdose.
From the Bosnet family.
Well, he looks drunk in a lot of roles these days.